Yeah.
Yeah, that's much different.
There we go. Yeah, you can scan that. And there's his card if you want one too. All right, let me move this. Woo! Here we are at the event, and super busy, super busy. All right, what we got going on here?
So just fairly started some weird little clacking noise when I start to engage the front brake.
Oh, you got a front brake issue. Okay, let's take a look.
I don't think the headset's loose.
So in that sense, yeah,
I couldn't quite figure out. The disc doesn't feel loose. I don't think I got loose spokes.
it's good if
sounds
you're
like
an
that. Some kind of
engineer,
little
makes a lot of work.
Like a tick, tick, tick.
Yeah. Might be hard to replicate without weight on it. Because it wasn't like a full stop, like, I'm having to ride here and kind of ride brakes a lot, right? So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your rotor looks good.
Yeah. This bike's only got 400 miles on it, so it's fairly new.
Yeah, it could be. Spokes feel no. Well, let's double check all of them. They all feel pretty tight. It's like a tick. Is a continuous tick.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if you're braking or anything.
No. Yeah, I have to be braking.
Oh, you have to be braking when it ticks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not when I'm rolling along.
All right.
Only when I brake.
So it looks like the rotor's off to one side.
Yeah.
What I can do is loosen these up and try to realign it a little bit. It's going to be hard for me to hear anything because of the music in the background.
I thought you were here.
But we'll just take a little peek and see what we can do here. So the typical trick on these is you loosen up both bolts here so your caliper can move back and forth. You hit your brakes really tight. Hopefully that centers the caliper so you can tighten it just back up. Yeah. And hopefully we'll get this, since it's new.
Yeah, I've been taking it back to the shop I bought it from they said bring it in after.
Yeah, I have it checked out. All right, so we did something. It did move over. So what the other trick is, this might be too thick, but we'll see. Calipers, they all have a mind of their own, and it's sometimes a combination of tricks to get it to center. So now it's pushed over to the other side, so to buff that out, place a business card, something thin like a business card, underneath that rotor, and we'll see if we can get it to jar back over. There we go. So.
Center it a little more. What does that kind of do?
Trying to push it back over so it'll align correctly.
You have the rotor still, and then you put the card still in.
Yeah, using it as a shim. All right, now the rotor looks like it's more centered, so that might take care of your ticking. And the ticking is probably, rotor might be just a little bit out, so it's bumping up a pad, or the pad got compromised, and it's just, they're not, well, they're pretty straight, but they're not always perfect, right? And you're talking about very, very tight tolerances. So with that perspective, once those rotors get a little bit of bent, especially rotors, they don't usually get bent while riding, that kind of thing. It's usually transportation or falling down in the garage or something that taps us.
Do something with the rotor once in a while for maintenance?
Well, there is a truing stand that we have that kind of has a gauge on it, so you can kind of manipulate the rotor to keep it on average.
Does the surface get corroded?
You can clean the surface with rubbing alcohol.
Oh, really?
If it's really screechy, that you want to have a little bit of a scarring on there, so you can use like steel wool or something. Put like a little bit of Brillo pad to have a little bit of scuff on that, but then clean it again with rubbing alcohol. Brake pads are the same thing, but you don't want to clean the rubbing alcohol directly on here. You want to take the brake pads out to clean the rubbing alcohol on there. And when you put if the brake pads are out with rubbing alcohol, here's the trick. You put the rubbing alcohol on there. If you're okay with fire, you use a little torch and burn off the excess, and that kind of gets all the, if you get like contaminants like grease or anything on there, that really kind of cleans them off, that kind of thing. So. Well, hopefully I'll take care of the ticket. If not, I'll take it back since you pretty much just got it.
Kind of getting close to due to run.
And have them just diagnose. If it's more of an issue of a manufacturer, like the brake company or whatever, then they can address and do the warranties for you too.
It's breaking okay, I guess. For a couple of weeks, I don't know.
Well, if it's this low miles, it should be perfect.
It's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, nice. They're good shop. Yeah, absolutely. They'll take care of
They're
you.
just so damn busy.
Oh yeah. Well,
You
that's,
gotta wait forever.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, if not, look me up. I'm in Loveland. If you have an appointment.
I'll watch your video.
Sounds good. Thank you. You take care. Thanks for doing this. Appreciate it.
Just take a look. I don't know if it's the brakes are squeaking on here, or if it's when you pedal, or on the.
On the rear, is
On the
it?
rear, yeah.
Squeaking. All right. Squeaky brakes.
I also want to remind you guys that the rally is going to start promptly at 12:30, so please do not leave, hang around, visit our vendor tent, and just enjoy this beautiful weather that we have. Thank you.
Something was squeaking when we were riding.
It might be the rotor. See if I can readjust this caliper. But the full-blown, the killer squeaks, we'll have to take the brake pads out and all that, clean them, scuff them. This is in shop, it's not out here.
Okay.
Clean the rotor and also double check the rotor in a truing stand to make sure the rotor is centered and that kind of thing. I can throw on, oh, that might have been a little bit loose there. That shouldn't have been that loose. Oh yeah, okay. We'll get those tightened up. So the trick, what may have happened is this was loose, caliper kind of shifted over. Hopefully by just compressing it down at the same time and tightening these bolts up, we'll hopefully center the rotor. Like I was telling the other guy, it's like one of those things where every caliper has its own quirk. And then there's a series of diagnoses that we do as mechanics that we just kind of a laundry list of checks until we.
Should you replace the pads?
All depends how much use it's been. But if you'll see the meat of them get pretty low, then it's probably a good idea to switch those out. They're not terribly expensive and they'll give you better brake performance. How old is the bike, or when's the last time you had the brakes done on it?
I can't remember. I don't think it's been like a year.
Okay.
Two. Calipers push too much, or
It seems like the caliper needs to be reset. It looks like it's just hitting on both sides. So basically, you might need a brake bleed on this, which they take the wheel out, they take the pistons, push the pistons in. They do a bleed, flush it out with fresh lube, and that kind of resets the pistons as well. And if the brake, if the meat of the pads are pretty low, that's time to replace those. Doing it. Sometimes brakes squeak if the pads are still okay. The rotor itself gets smooth. What you can do is take a Brillo pad and scuff the sides up, clean it with rubbing alcohol, and that sometimes will kill that squeak. But there's various other just different sounds too to choose from. I usually like the quieter ones that don't make as much noise, but then they may not
So I'm
So-
not really sure if it's like the tire that has a puncture or is it.
You probably have a small, slow leak in there, and then you probably just need to get a new tube in there.
All right.
That's where I'm based out of. Yeah. Cool.
It's a bit greasy. I need to clean it.
Yeah, tune up and get all cleaned up. You get a patch kit?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, cool. All right. All right.
This belongs to me. So,
Hello.
I changed my brake pads last night for maybe the second time ever. I'm not as familiar with these guys. So, I don't seem to be able to get these centered. I used the screws on the bottom, squeeze the brake. While I'm squeezing it, tighten them down and let it go. I thought that was the procedure, but maybe not.
That is the starting
That's the
starting
start.
point of the rabbit hole. Yeah.
So this one's a little
A little bit, but you probably want to head to a shop where they can, it's kind of hard to do in the field. But you need to take everything apart, pre-compress that, the rotor, true the rotor, also double check those pads, make sure they're pressed in and reset. Then they can redo that and reset the actual position here. I got a little closer, a little bit better.
It's a little more free than it was.
Yeah, so. Oop. So yeah. But you can see the rotor, it just kind of pushes over from one direction. That caliper needs to be pushed over.
So the rotor might not be true also?
Well, the rotor looks like it's pretty true, but we want to double check that when we're in the shop setting on that. So that's what I suggest doing. Yeah. There you go, sir.
Justin, I just wanted to introduce you to the spiritual successor of Parker Bikes. We commented on your YouTube videos.
Oh, do you?
This
Nice.
is Mountain View Cycling. This is Kevin.
Hi, Kevin. I'm Justin. Yeah, same here. Pleasure.
In my obsessiveness over bikes, I ran into your channel.
Oh, nice,
And
nice,
just
awesome.
sad that I wasn't around in 2001, I guess. You closed?
Yeah, we had to close in 2001, unfortunately.
Where was it exactly?
It was Parker Road and Main Street by the library,
Okay,
and that
yeah,
little
so
shop.
like a block down.
Yeah.
Parker and Pine.
Yeah.
Hilltop, yeah.
Hilltop. Oh, yeah, there's up the Hilltop Road. Nice. That's the new shop? Is that what's?
It is, yeah. We opened March 23rd. So,
Oh, really? Really new?
yeah.
Really? Yeah.
Wow. Nice. Nice. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, what brands are you carrying?
We have Specialized in Moran and 3T.
Nice.
And the
Nice.
Primal jerseys is the comment I made.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Here's my card. I'd love to do an interview for my channel if that's cool with you, to feature your shop and talk about what you've experienced so far being in the cycling industry for somebody that just got into it versus an old dog like me that's been around for 35 years.
Yeah.
I'd love to do that. Sit down, chat if you're up to doing, if you're willing to do that. But yeah,
This
awesome.
is my wife, Katie.
Yeah. How you doing? I'm Justin.
She
Pleasure.
helps run the shop, and everything you see online, Katie does. So.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, it's a village. I mean, I'm the guy, the only guy that does mine, but I still have a little army of friends that help the website, and my son here, you know.
He's your son?
Yeah.
Is she your daughter?
Oh yeah, my daughter. She pops in once in a while. So, you know, that's what I do. But yeah, absolutely. If you ever make it up to Loveland, stop by. I have friends down at Parker, so I'll pop in. I'll let you know. I'm on my schedule coming down there. But yeah, I'd love to do an interview at the shop and check it out, and you can tell me the woes, and maybe I have a couple of gold nuggets that might help you.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Well, congratulations of opening your shop, and welcome to the community of cycling. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, same here. Hey, this guy. Yeah. What are we doing? What we got?
Failure, I think, might be off just a smidge.
Okay.
Because as I'm shifting, sometimes it's just not.
It's not as smooth as, okay.
No, that feels good.
Where'd my other lube go?
Hey, left foot.
Through, okay.
I already added something.
Oh, did you? Okay. I'm trying to find where's my rags? Out of there.
Thank you.
So you shot some lube on here already?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, we'll just double check it.
Okay. Yeah. It's not, of course, true now. It's just a subtle thing. On the small trim ring, I can't remember where I've been hearing it.
Right down here, a little bit of chattering, or up here. Okay.
But I can't remember.
Is it a cross chain like that you're getting the chatter, like the big and big, on the big and big, or is it when you're dropped down and small?
I think so. I can't remember where it is, but I think it's when I've been hill climbing, so maybe on the small trim ring. That sounds pretty good now, doesn't it?
You'll get a little noise in small because of the trailer. I don't know if you have, you don't have trim on this shifter, so it'll rub up against here a little bit to make the noise, but you shouldn't be in this gear anyway. I mean, it'll go there, it's designed to go there, but if you shift up and you shift back 2 or 3 gears here, you'll be at the same ratio. So the idea is you want to try to keep your chain parallel to itself. I do it all the time. It's like, what's that noise? Oh, me being dumb.
Yeah, I try not to.
Yeah, it's always different when you get it on the road too, right? That's why every mechanic should test ride their bikes after they work on them, because I've always found like weirdness sometimes, like why is it doing this? And it could be something loose for the flex, but yeah.
Okay, fantastic.
Seems, yeah, nothing really jumps out at me, but
Okay, great.
but when you do like a tune-up, probably get like the one with the drivetrain clean, where they'll take the drivetrain and put the ultrasonic.
Did that.
Just did that? Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, that's usually really good because that gets all the old gunk off there, then you refresh it. Another thing too to make it shift a little bit smoother is upgrade to the waxing of the chain versus drip lube. Waxing, I have a sample. So when you wax a chain, this is exactly what you think it is. Back in the turn of the century, they'd wax their chains with candle wax. So what it does is they upgraded the chemical of it with paraffin wax mixed with tungsten disulfide with silica. Some others use different kind of graphite. Basically what that does is it makes your chain completely clean, and when it does the excess, it's super smooth. What the benefit is though, it prevents wear and tear on all your componentry. So less wear on the cassette, your jockey pulleys, and your chain rings, in addition to that smooth and super quiet. So yeah, in the wax, a lot of bike shops are starting to do a wax service. Mine's like $20 when you do a tune-up kind of thing. So when you do the next tune-up that does the whole cleaning of the drivetrain, see if you can get an elevated wax treatment on there. That's going to make it shift a lot smoother and be more durable. Plus, it doesn't collect any of this stuff.
How does it do with like dirt? This is a gravel bike.
Yeah, it does great for dirt and mountain. And they wear off a little bit sooner, but they do make a drip version of the silica. It's the same exact stuff. You don't want to, I mean, if you're going to do this, it has to be clean too. But this is basically the same tungsten disulfide carbon, graphite mixed with paraffin, it's emulsified by 10% water. So it's exactly the same thing as the wax that's on here. But you can do a drip lube on there to stop the squeaking or the noise of it. And that'll settle in. Instead of like how you see me, I lubed it and I moved it all over. When you lube with wax, you move it up to your second to the biggest in the back and your biggest up front. What that is doing is opening up all the linkages with the chain. And you should do that with your regular lube either way. But when you do the wax, you find your power link and you put one drop on each link. And then just rotate it like about 20 times. That kind of manipulates and moves that liquid wax into those little channels, and then let it dry over a couple hours or overnight. Then your chain is re-waxed fresh. Nothing replaces like the deep heated dip of it, but this is a great way to like kind of crutch you along through the season if you only want to use one chain. So.
Do you need it after it's been cleaned?
It needs to, yeah. You can't just put this right onto a already lube. It just is cross-contaminated too many different chemicals. So, but yeah, so I just continually use your drip lube until you decide to go with wax. I'm just as much as you're talking about noise. That will eliminate a lot of the noise. I have a lot of customers, and my neighbor too. She got about, on her gravel bike, about 600 miles before she had to have it completely re-waxed. Okay. So that worked out really well.
You guys are in Loveland.
Yep, I'm in Loveland. Yeah, you need a card or a patch kit?
I got a patch kit.
Yeah, it has that QR code. You can scan it.
My
yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I'm half blind. Yeah, we'll get you set.
Great, thank you so much.
Oh, no worries.
Thank you for doing this.
Oh, thank you for doing this. Nice bike. Yeah, enjoy. Take care.
Go look at her chicken. She said her chain.
Yeah, I took it to university. I told them it was making a noise, and they adjusted the derailleur with a computer and everything for the Cervelo. But now the chain dropped off.
Okay, on the inside, outside, in the back, where did it drop off at?
Just seemed to, yeah.
Looks like it would drop off on the inside,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
okay.
I had to put it on 3 times before I started this.
Oh, really? Today, huh?
And it was like, oh my gosh. Scary, because it never did that before. So it definitely did something with the adjusted it too loose.
Oh, boy. You have a bent chain ring.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, right there. So somewhere, either when it dropped or, yeah, most likely what happened when it dropped, it got wedged in here. Did it get wedged?
Yeah.
That inner chain ring got compromised. Now it's bent in. And unfortunately, they're stamped and they don't like to be bent back. I mean, we can try. I don't think I have anything in the field, but in the shop, you can see if they can bend it back to straighten it. If they can't, it's worth trying. It just won't shift correctly, so you may need to get a new smaller chain ring. You might want to get a price on both. That's what I do. Is like, how much is a new one, and how much is just try to bend it back. The new ones may not be that big, expensive lift, so you just might just go ahead and do that.
So all I need is just the. Do I need the whole crank or just the chain?
No, just the chain ring. This little guy is bolted on there.
So a little guy.
Yeah, the little 39 tooth guy.
Little chain ring.
And also this crank set, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but this is the one that's in that batch of Shimano cranks that should be inspected.
I did have it inspected.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Then I take it back to them and tell them that I was on the ride, the chain dropped after you guys adjusted it, it wedged in the frame and bent the chain ring.
Okay.
And see if they will do any recourse for you. You can always ask, right?
So the small chain ring is the
Not to throw any bike shops under the bus, but I'm streaming live right now. But yeah, just saying.
Okay.
For them, the small chain is not going to be that much, but it may have been adjustment error, that kind of thing.
So
Sorry, I'm not able to fix it.
That's okay, but it's helpful to know what it is.
Yeah, identify
Okay.
what's going
Thank
on.
you so much, and I have your card.
Go.
And which part of town are you in?
I'm in Loveland,
Loveland.
north side of Loveland.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
All right.
I'm up there.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Sure.
So I have not that new, but the goop in the tires,
Uh-huh.
and I'm getting like to the point where I have to pump up my tires before changing the goop. Will that make it better?
Yeah, is it tubeless?
Yeah, tubeless tires.
So what happens after about 3 to 9 months, that tubeless stuff dries out, and you probably need to get refreshed, sounds like. Either they can reapply it through the valve core, or you can do it yourself. You can try that, or just have the shop do it. And it's probably the best approach on that. Once that look, yeah, and when they take it out, they'll take out all the stuff and the goopiness and clean it all up and reset it with the fresh sealant. And that's usually the best way to go on that. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
How you doing?
Hey, I'm good.
What we got going on?
I'm not sure. I think I was just like, oh, should I check something here? Or I don't know.
The shifting is it off or?
I thought there was something weird about the bike, or like maybe this car. Maybe the oil helps.
Seems to be hitting all the gears okay. Do you have anything specific that was causing the shifting issues or?
I don't know exactly. Is there something weird about this and how like it's?
Oh yeah, there you go. Sorry. Yeah.
What would I do about that?
Okay, so your crank. This is the old school 3-piece crank. I don't want to get, I won't get too technical, but what basically the bottom bracket is worn out. It's actually backed off and loosened up. Those ball bearings have been compromised in there if you've been riding a lot, especially this loose, so it's knocking back and forth. There is a fix. They do have cartridges of a bottom bracket that goes inside there. They roughly run between 30 to 40 bucks. And for the labor, it's probably like 15 or 20, depending on the shop. So yeah, basically, they could try to readjust it, but if it's been this loose for a long period of time, I know those bearings have probably been compromised underneath. And it's just over time on these older bikes with the 3-piece, they're adjustable. The newer ones are cartridge systems, so they're locked into place so they don't loosen up. When they do loosen up, they're pretty much blowing out. It's kind of a replaceable type thing. But the crankset on this one, yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have the tool to even try to adjust it because it's a little bit beyond. This bike is, I would say, 200 GX, about a 94 model, so yeah. But yeah, they can probably within about 50 or 60 bucks be able to get that fixed for you.
Is that something you do too, or?
I could do it, but I'm up in Loveland, so whatever's more convenient for you.
It's really nice of you to come out here.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
But
absolutely.
it's like, could you replace it with a newer thing?
Yeah, a new bottom bracket. So they take the older bottom bracket. That's what the spindle of the crank arms are sitting on. Is that bottom bracket piece? It's kind of like a hub, but inside here.
But
And
yeah, I think I was like, because you said like it has like the older style. But
it has the
could you
older
put
style.
Newer style.
The newer style will work. Yeah, it is retrofit through those decades. So they have newer cartridge systems that'll work for the older ones. It's a square taper. It's probably a 68, and it's a triple, so it's probably a 118 length. But yeah, they can measure this when they take it apart to get the correct size, and then they can order it for you and have it fixed within a week or so.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, no worries.
Thanks so much for coming out.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for doing the ride. There you go. Thanks.
How much do you work by the hour? Do you work by?
We have tune-up packages that start about 100.
Well, no. What I want to do is have some brakes on this.
Oh, to convert it to like a V-brake style.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to replace the brakes themselves and the levers and do a cable replacement. Parts probably around 50 to 60 bucks. A little bit higher depending what level you want to get. Labor on something just specifically like that, I'd say probably about 20 bucks. Brake, so probably about 40 bucks. So you're probably looking about 110 to 120-ish.
But you said you're in Loveland?
Yep, over in Loveland.
So I'd have to take up to Loveland?
Yep. It's all appointment based up there. Yeah.
Okay.
You can check with your local shop too. They do very similar pricing as well. I have very similar pricing as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. How you doing? What can I do for you?
Stupid car. So my tires are going flat a lot, and I think it might be that I bend the valve. I'm afraid I'm bending the valve when I'm inflating it.
Oh, okay. Let me. Well, it happens on those. This one I need to have pliers. I guess I have to do big pliers. So, with this little guy, it's called a Presta valve, and it sticks out. And the problem is when you put a pump on there, it's a weak point. It's a known problem for the last 4 or 5 decades. Sometimes you can bend these straight back, and if it snaps, you basically have to replace it. But
I used to have these little things that
the Presta valve adapters, yeah.
Yeah, the adapters that would allow you to use a car.
Yeah. But try to get that straight again, then we air back up. I found this pump is actually pretty cool. The reason being is it levers a different direction. It's not a back lever. So you're not doing this as much, so you just hold it in place and you push the lever back, and the less chances of it.
Putting it up.
Yeah, the less chances of it to bend.
Yeah.
Then once you get it done, then you gotta. Yeah. Ooh, now I feel the heat kicking in. Right into the cool air. You like 60? All right.
I don't know. I like it as full as I can.
Then on these, you can go straight down, so you're not bending it by accident. Then once you're done, tighten that grommet down all the way.
Yeah.
And that should keep it from.
What kind of pump is this?
This is a Blackburn. Yeah.
That's probably the trick, because when I pull it,
Yeah, they get at an angle and it just bends easy. Yeah, it's kind of a weak point of the valve. These to be a little bit easier to use without bending them. Yeah. There you go. Oh wow. Woo, that was a rush.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, I didn't realize it would be that intense.
Yeah, it was a halfway point where there were people who were like, oh, you can get your bike tuned up for free. you should show me how to do the derailleur tune-ups.
Yeah, doing little adjustments on them. Yeah. Some of it's kind of just practice.
Just definitely a finesse thing, yeah.
It is a finesse thing. It's understanding the first concept of what the derailleur does.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a whole school. Then you get the DI2 or the red shifting, and you're like, the principle's there, but it's a little different. Exactly. Well, thanks for joining us at the Magnus Memorial Ride. He was a younger lad that actually was killed doing a training ride here in Boulder, Colorado, and this is an event to raise awareness of bicycle safety. And I was called upon to help out, and this morning it was kind of a slow roll. It was like we didn't see very many people because they started at a different location, and I thought they would be here. But anyway, it turned out that they all ended up here, and I think we have like something like 4,000 people that showed up to do the ride and walk fundraiser. So this is freaking awesome. Great turnout, awesome. I'm sorry I didn't start it earlier because I got tied up talking to somebody else and nobody was here, and all of a sudden everything hit hard and fast. So of course, you know, that's how things go, right? In anticipation. A lot of little just adjustments. A couple of them are like, yeah, you're gonna have to take it to your shop to have a little more thorough work on it, especially with disc brakes if you were watching, but that's what we're looking at here. But apparently we got a couple of big celebrities that are going to be up, and hopefully I'll have enough battery life and time here to show it. I think they were supposed to talk about now, right? Or 12:30. Yeah. In about 20 minutes, Governor Polis of Colorado is supposed to speak at this event, and you know, put his dive and spin and twist on the whole cycling community, and we're trying to always improve and make it safe for everybody to ride bikes and walk and run. So that's where we're looking at there. And also we have supposedly the head guy from Trek, John Burke, is supposed to show up and have his little speech too. Trek is out here. Actually, Magnus White was actually racing for Trek on one of their cycling teams, and that's the reason why John Burke is out here going to do a little speech as well. We'll see what they have to say. Hopefully we can capture that as we're doing this live stream. I'm taking this lull, and I'm going to take a little drink of water. How much are we into this? Alright, see any of these comments. So where am I? I am on the CU campus in Boulder, Colorado. It's about an hour drive for my little Loveland abode garage shop, and it's a nice little campus. It's known with its history. Known to be a drinker's campus. No, just kidding. Party campus for those. Yes. There's a whole bunch of tech in Boulder, as well as like, I think NCAR's here, some various whole bunch of acronym government agencies for satellites and science and all that are up here. Actually, my wife's company, Linker, has an office up here in Boulder as well. She was at CSU, now she's moved to Linker. Yeah, it's a nice little college town. If you ever, fun fact, if you ever watched Mork and Mindy show from the 70s with Robin Williams, that was based in Boulder, Colorado. And they had some, I don't think they ever shot here, but it did have a similar vibe. Coloradoans call it the People's Republic of Boulder because we think it's a little cutout piece of California. It's been like that for decades, so if I've insulted anybody, I don't care. That's just how it is. And it is a different place. The cost of living up here is extremely high, so a lot of people that work in Boulder live in the surrounding communities like Walmart, Lafayette, even Loveland and Fort Collins, even an hour away, just because it's just, you know, too damn expensive. It's beautiful. They have the Flatiron of the Rockies, which is known for mountain climbing and all that kinds of activities. It's a beautiful area. Dura-Ace Ski Resort is right up the hill. So you can see the appeal of anybody that's from out of state coming to Colorado that wants to go to this college. This is one of those meccas. Also, it has a huge cycling community. It's always been known to have a bike shop in every corner, and that has been and always has been the literal example of Boulder. Totally love their bikes. As you can see, a huge community out here. I love cycling, and something like this that devastates the community, it is felt by everybody. So I'm glad to be here showing support, even though I'm not generally located in this particular area. But hey, we're all part of the same family, right? You out there as well in the YouTube world. So hang out, we'll see what happens on the stage here in a little bit. I'm sure somebody might be interested in that. I am, in any case. If I have any other little quick fixes, I will. But yeah, I guess the little patchworks are a big hit.
We're 5 5 minutes out. I have a small favor to ask of you all. It's great that you're visiting all the vendors, but I need you to turn your attention and move yourselves closer to the stage. It'd be wonderful to just crowd right up.
It's because of the photo op for the governor.
Form a semicircle, please.
They want to have the big crowds, right? It's all about crowds. Like those are awesome for any of us vendors that are out here. You got Primal, you got Trek, you got a Colorado Avid Cyclist, which is Gary himself is the one that put on the whole show here. You can find that. I will add that to the list of information later. But you can find it on my website, iknowaguybicycles.com, under resources. You will find his link. He is very advocate. Him himself was hit by a vehicle recently in Castle Rock, which is South Denver, Colorado, and he lucked out. Just a whole bunch of road rash, got thrown like 50 feet or 100 feet or something like that. Bike is totaled. But unfortunately, the awareness of the cycling, even in here in Colorado, still has some ignorance, in the sense that the guy jumped out of his truck and yelled at him like, "What the hell are you doing?" even though it was his fault for hitting the cyclist. So this is part of this awareness campaign amongst many others across the state that we're continuously trying to beat it to death, in the sense that we need to relay the message that everybody needs to share the road. And yeah, a lot of people have gone off the road, including myself. I stick to bike paths because of riding on streets that got kind of dangerous. And then also bike paths are just so convenient for me to ride. But anyway, in some places of the state still don't have that easiest convenience, even though they're continuously growing them. That's where I hope to hear from a governor that is actually going to help try to push more legislation for more bike paths, for more bicycling, safety, and all those things. I sound like I'm on a soapbox, but basically that's what we're here for. And off of somebody's tragic death, and if anybody's been in the cycling industry for as long as I have, you've known more than one person has actually died by a vehicle hit in the cycling community. So it is always devastating, but we all try our best to overcome that and not get mad, but get basically educating those around us in that. So that's our space that we're working in today. Huge turnout, amazing. I had no idea. This is the first time this event was hit earlier this year. So I don't know if this is going to be a repeat event, but it seems to be a pretty great turnout for initial one. But in any case, for a memorial ride, who can ask for more to have contribute? I mean, I'd be pretty proud myself if somebody turned out for my little butt being smeared over concrete. But in any case, this is pretty cool. This is up there with like doing the MS-150. Actually, this is more people, I think, that's done the last MS-150 or close to it. So Gary did a great job. Shout out to him. He ended up organizing the thing. He just initially like, oh, I'll volunteer and help. Turned to end up, he's pretty much running the whole show.
Do you guys look at brakes?
What's that?
Do you guys look at brakes?
I can take a look at them. What kind do you have?
Unfortunately, they're cantilever.
I'm old enough to work on cantilever.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. The mysteries of cantilever. I just hope to God they're not Diet Compy. Which they probably are. Ooh, those are old school. Okay, Xander, you're on your own.
Can I take the backpack off?
Where were we? On the back, I'm assuming, right?
No, actually on the front.
Oh, okay.
The front's the one. It's just nothing.
Nothing.
I mean, they got disconnected, and I tried to.
Is somebody trying to get rid of you?
Adjust it.
Is that what's going on? Is it
No, it got disconnected. Burning Man last year, and they got disconnected to keep the bike moving. And
Burning Man, that's got to be experience. Do a lot of people ride at Burning Man?
Yeah, everybody's on bikes.
I see weird videos, but you know.
Yeah, I can give you.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, it was. It got very, very muddy, and then I had to walk it back, and it was just mudding up the thing, and so I disconnected this, and I just haven't been able to get the tension back on it.
Just right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Oh boy. Okay. Let me.
you can totally say no.
Oh no.
So.
No. I'm just trying to hope I have a tool that goes back a couple decades.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if I was prepared for sockets.
Yeah.
But I think I might be in luck. I'm sure one of these kits, I have something. Oh yeah, there we go. All right, this is, unfortunately, I don't think I have a cable puller. So basically the tension on this is by this bridge, right?
For sure.
So this maybe just got knocked down.
Yeah.
But the booger on these are just so.
I know, I was like, I couldn't really get it to.
Yeah, they make a tool.
It does the.
It's called, well, there's two. It's old school one's called a third hand tool,
Okay.
which basically goes around.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
And the other one is a cable puller.
Okay.
Hopefully I can tighten this faster than sliding through my glove.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's like.
Welcome back, everyone.
A little better. All right, I'll do that again.
Move in. Come on, don't be afraid.
All right.
Our speakers don't bite. Slide in.
I don't know. I want to trust that.
All right, while you're snuggling up to the stage, a little business we need to cover. Your bib number has some value.
There, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I kinda
I'm gonna
maxed that
tighten
out.
this down so you got a little more
That would be
adjustment.
great, yeah, because I totally blew all of that.
20% off all sales today. Oh, I'm sorry. 20% of your bill at Protos Pizza will be donated to the White Line Foundation. But
But that
your number
knocks
plate
down
is
here.
also a coupon today from 1 to 4
So the cable
o'clock.
puller just
50% off.
Grabs it on and pushes it up.
That's because I've been trying to do it by hand, and it's like
Yeah, it's
impossible.
unless you have a gorilla grip like I do from working on bikes so long.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is the Buffalo Bicycle Classic, which is an outstanding ride that generates scholarship money for students here at CU. Their tent is in the back corner. They're offering $20.
This pad is shifted down a little, so I'm going to see if I can rotate that up a little bit. Blind.
All right, so now is an opportunity for you to learn more about important policies that can make our roads safer for all users, but especially people on bikes and pedestrians. And you're going to have an opportunity to take action. Please do not leave until you have that opportunity.
Did the complete mechanic course at Community Cycles, and I brought this in when we were doing brakes, and he just laughed and he said we need a whole course to work on those brakes. And I was like, oh, that's not that helpful.
There's a little history to these.
Yeah, totally. That looks, wow, it looks like it's already a lot better.
So I'm backing this off again because once I loosen it, it hits this bridge piece here, so it drops down.
Okay.
So if I had the right tool, I probably would realign this up to a little bit higher to put your bridge piece up.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I don't have two 10mm on me.
Oh, okay, so you have to do it at the same time?
Yeah, you kind of have to hold it, then tighten it, yeah.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is try to get this a little tighter here. There you go. Oh my goodness, has a Chris King hub headset.
Yeah.
That's dope. I usually don't use the word dope often. Not my gin. All right. Okay.
Amazing.
There you go.
That's great.
So double check it, make sure it's tight.
in the aftermath of her death,
So it has like a little flex in there.
and it came to
These did have a really good idea at the time, is what they're trying to do is give the plane out.
Yep.
And then you could adjust these to hit just right. There's so much adjustment. That's where it gets really squirrely. That's why they're like, you need a whole class on it.
For sure.
Because these have its own little adjustments with a wedge here.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
Then you have your bridge piece here
Yep.
that you need to adjust.
So the ideal would be if I took both of these in at the same time.
Probably see where it's crimped here,
Yep.
so
Yep.
at some point it slipped down or
Yep.
got readjusted down. So I'd try to get it back up here. So you want that triangle to be more of a triangle.
Yep.
And a little bit higher up.
Okay.
And it gives you that best leverage. It's all like
Yep.
your geometry type,
And it's
angle
just
on there.
like I would want a cable pull or something to be able to put the tension on
Well,
it, or what? How do I-
this you can adjust, you unhook it, then you can move this up and tighten it down so you're not fighting against the spring tension. But
Yep.
this cable, you have to fight against the spring tension to get it to adjust correctly.
Okay.
So,
And I'd have to probably mess with both of them if I was to pull this one up. I'd have to do
yeah,
something.
yeah.
with
Then
this.
you'd have to relax this one a little bit
Okay.
too.
Gotcha.
If you booger up this cable, they still sell these cables, the bridge cable. They're like a couple bucks. They're not too expensive.
Okay.
That kind of thing. So,
Sweet.
but yeah, oh, that's a classic. Love it.
experience. It's not.
Love it.
Oh look! Oh my God, that's incredible.
There you go.
Yeah, that's
And
a world of difference.
Yeah.
I was like trying to
to honor your loved one.
like take some
publicly.
pictures and video, but I'm like, I can't break with the side.
I love the tennis ball cover. That's great. Did you get a patch kit for you?
Thanks so much.
Yeah,
Remind
thank
me
you.
your name again? What was your name again?
I'm Justin. Yep.
I thought I
Thank you.
by bringing 2,000 people together. We have 4,000 here today. It's amazing. It's a testament to your fortitude and to your courage that we're all here. So I also just want to thank you, but I don't want to do that. I don't want Trini to do that. Needs to say just thank you, and it's great to meet you all, and thank you for being a part of this movement.
Hi everybody, my name is Trini Fullerton, and I got shoved into this space. I'm a crash survivor. I never in a million years would have imagined that I would be standing here right now. And I just want to thank everybody that made this day possible. Without literally dozens and dozens of volunteers, this would not have been a thing, right? I mean, we all worked so hard for months. I'd like to thank a couple of people just off the top of my head, and forgive me if I don't name you, but you know how hard you worked. So Steve Kurland, Jenny Anderson, Sage, Gary, just everybody. Dan from afar. We've been traveling, we've been doing a lot of stuff, and here we are. But most importantly, I would love to thank the Whites for their courage and for the opportunity to turn this horrible thing that happened to them into change. So thank you.
Our next speaker is a true icon in the bike industry. He started working in the bike industry in 1984 when he took a job at his dad's small bike manufacturing company, which was started a few years earlier in a barn in Waterloo, Wisconsin. 1997, he became president, still president today. Things took off from there. He's a founding member of the People for Bikes and has been just a true bike advocate for decades. Please join me in welcoming the president of Trek Bikes, John Burke.
Thank you so much for having me. I did start 40 years ago, and my first job was in Boulder, so it's good to be back. What an amazing ride this was this morning. I want to also thank the Whites for having Trek involved. I want to thank you for the invitation. What a memory. And thanks for helping me show up and hopefully make a difference. There's so many people here today in one of the great spots for cycling around the world. All of us love the activity. It provides exercise, it provides mental health, fun, friendship, and it's an amazing way to go out and see the world. It's also a really simple solution. You know, as a society, we have a lot of problems today. I don't know if you've noticed. But take a look at the bicycle. And there's congestion, we have health issues, and climate change sits out there. And the bicycle is a partial solution, it's a simple solution to so many different things. But the bicycle can only be that simple solution if it's safe. And as a society, we need to do better to create safe cycling and safe areas for pedestrians. And as a cycling community, we can do more. Too often around this country, people sit back and they wait for other people to solve the problems. And I've always been fond of this quote from Margaret Mead so many years ago, that a small group of people can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. And we're lucky here today because we don't have a small group. It's not even a medium-sized group. But when you take a look at the 4,000 people who showed up here today, it's a large group. So if you want to help change the world, and if you want to honor Magnus, and if you want to prevent the next tragedy, I have a thought and I have two pieces of advice. The first thought is about our democracy. And I've seen this by being involved in advocacy for over 30 years. This is a democracy. It's of the people, by the people, and for the people who show up. That's how things get done. And so my two pieces of advice is, number one, show up. What you've done here today is you've shown up. That sea of 4,000 people here today, it sent a message. In the last transportation bill that was passed last year, there's over $10 billion available for cycling infrastructure. We've never seen that kind of an opportunity in this country. That dream can become a reality if people like you show up at meetings in the years to come. You have no idea what showing up means. Get in touch with your local organization, follow the politics of bike safety, and just show up. The second piece of advice is write a note. Somebody once told me that a short note goes a long way. We live in an era of tweets and texts, and a short handwritten note means more than at any other time. Find out who your local representative is, your state representative, and your federal representative. Send them a short note. Tell them that you care about cycling. 10 years from now, people are going to look back at this. This is a historic event, and they're going to come to two conclusions. A, that was an amazing ride. There were 4,000 people who came out here. They came out here to honor an amazing kid who tragically lost his life. Or B, there were 4,000 people who came out here. They came out here to honor Magnus. And because of that, there's so many people who got involved, and we created more and safer places for people to cycle, and because of that, we changed the world. And so I would suggest to you, let's go with B.
Thanks, John. It's now my pleasure to introduce the 43rd Governor of Colorado, Polis. The last time I had the privilege of sharing the stage with the Governor, we were announcing the launch of this country's first statewide e-bike subsidy, I should say rebate. According to Bicycle Colorado's legislative scorecard, and we do keep score, since Governor Polis took office in 2019, he has signed into law 26 laws that aim to expand access to safe biking and walking. Please join me in welcoming Governor Polis to the stage.
Thank you, everybody. I feel a bit overdressed, and I know that that betrays the fact that I did not join you on the 13-mile bike ride. I apologize. But I'm excited that over 4,000 strong did. And thank you for being here to honor Magnus's legacy, and of course commit ourselves to doing more to better protect everyone who uses our roads. Michael and Jill, of course, the White Lion Foundation, and of course no one should ever have to go through what you've been through. And again, it speaks to your character and your strength that you are on an ongoing basis turning that tragedy into real positive change so that others don't have to go through what you went through. Thank you to the City and County of Boulder for supporting the Ride Our Streets. CU Boulder, thanks for hosting. And many organizations, it could be me, Bicycle Colorado, Ride for Your Life, USA Cycling, and Trek Bikes. You know, Magnus was taken from us far too soon. Riding his bike was his happy place, and it's fitting that we honor Magnus by celebrating what he celebrated, biking the roads in and around Boulder that he knew so well. And we know that we need to do more to ensure that our roads are safe for everybody who uses them, and that means drivers, cyclists, pedestrians. And we are making key safety improvements and prioritizing safety on our roads. To of course, Colorado Highway 119, where Magnus was struck and killed, building a protected bike and pedestrian trail, installing rumble strips to keep vehicles on the road. With a partnership with CDOT and Boulder County and RTD and the biking community, we're doing everything we can to make 119 safer, as well as roads across Colorado. Just this last year, I signed a new law that prohibits drivers from using a cell phone while driving. And at the same time, you know, a lot of the infrastructure is local, not state, around safety, but we're providing support for local communities to improve safety. Examples of that are financial support for a new bikeway in Broomfield, a safer walking and bike path for children going to and from school between Westcliff and Silvercliff, new sidewalks and ADA ramps through Kersey near Greeley, and many of these investments across the state that the state is a partner with these locally driven projects that improve safety, particularly in the higher trafficked areas in and around downtowns. It takes all of us working together to save lives and protect vulnerable road users, and I want to thank the Colorado Department of Transportation for helping to bring together a strong coalition of local stakeholders with advancing transportation safety initiative, especially to improve bike and pedestrian safety. So more to come. You're going to see a lot of important investments and improvements, and you are a big part of that change. Continue to make sure that your voice is heard as we work closely with our local, state, and national partners to improve safety for cycling, improve transportation infrastructure to serve people on our roadways, and of course, as we continue to keep people safe, we want to do so by proudly honoring Magnus's legacy so that fewer families and fewer communities have to ever suffer the unthinkable tragedy that the White family has endured, that the entire community has endured, that has brought us together here in the spirit of unity and change. Thank you.
Our next two speakers need little in the way of introduction. We all know the circumstances that have brought them to this very moment, that have brought us here. We're all here today because of their son, Magnus. We're also here today because Jill and Michael somehow have the strength, while grappling with grief, to speak up and make this event happen. Please give a warm welcome to Magnus's mom and dad, Jill and Michael.
Thank you. I've never spoken in front of this many people. I didn't have the emotional stamina to do it last year for Magnus's memorial. So forgive me now if I stumble, if I cry, even if I laugh or forget things. But I'll talk to you, and I'll also talk to Magnus about him, and sometimes directly to him. So with this, I'll start by talking a little bit about Magnus. Sorry, the breathing, I'll work on that. My sweet Magnus, you talked with a Boston accent until you were 5. You said muck for milk, geen for green, which was your favorite color and the only color you'd wear, until it became the Stars and Stripes you were so proud to wear for your country. To wear your Team USA gear, to wear your Team USA blue jacket, and his friends out here know how much he loved that blue Team USA jacket and his gray sweatpants. Today we gather not just in memory, but in motion. We're here for Magnus. We're here for Sarah Langenkamp, for Bill Davis, for Steve Perkins, for 13-year-old Kai, and 5-year-old Sydney Olson, for countless others, and ultimately for ourselves. I stand before you as a mother whose world was shattered in an instant. The pain of losing Magnus is indescribable, but in the sea of faces that I see, joining us here and from across the country and 20 countries in Europe, it really, I made writing the word Germany on an envelope really meant a lot. I see hope. Hope that from our collective grief, we can forge a path to change. Magnus lived each day as it was a race. He could not wait to win. His friends know that. Whether he was adventuring with friends or flying down a mountain on his bike, his eyes sparkled with that unmistakable mix of joy and determination. And that smile of his warmed you from the inside out. As I look at all of you, I'm struck by the power of community. I really am. Some of you knew Magnus, some of you didn't, but you're all here showing up in a way that speaks volumes about the human capacity for empathy and action. And that, as a mother to Magnus, gives me hope. So thank you for giving me that hope. Before I go further, Mike and I drew straws, and I won by getting to thank everyone, because that's what I do. I thank people because I love them, and I just feel their love, and really couldn't do this without any one of you. So I get to thank those who have been instrumental to making this a reality. Pete and Bicycle of Colorado, you've been our backbone defining our policy asks, because we're new at this. I never thought I'd get emotional around a politician, but Governor Polis and Representative Nagus, who, sent us a flag for Magnus, who still sits by him, by his ashes, where we can see him every day. To Federal Highway Administrator Bhatt, we shared a nice bike ride together today. Again, who knew I'd be riding with a politician? But they're really real people, and it's great that they're here. So thank you for being real, and thank you for being here. And track president John Burke, who I was a little bit intimidated by because you're the CEO of track. And Magnus loved track, and track is big. But your support lends power to our cause. And so thank you. And I have to say, man, we live in a beautiful city. The Flatirons, just right there, just always reminding us of the glory and graciousness of this earth. And the city of Boulder, who sponsored this event, who really stepped forward. They proposed the route. For a city to propose a route is huge if anyone's done a race or a ride. So thank you for that. To our organizing team, who was an army of a little but a lot. I mean, when I say a little, to do this event, to do it so well and organized, they're pretty incredible. That's Dan, Trini, Jenny, our ride director, who really is the most important person because it wouldn't have happened without her. Brendan, Bob Burns, who intimidated me a little bit about his boss, track president. Amy, Steve, Lisa, Michael, Magnus's coach, Gary, and so many others. Your dedication over these past 5 months, 5 months. That is so short to plan this. It was nothing short of ordinary, and I'm not going to say the word that starts with an M, but you could maybe say that. It's miracle, and it's hard to hear that when you're a mom of who's somebody who wasn't spared that miracle. Each of you has poured your heart into this, and it shows. Let me go back to Magnus now. He wasn't just a cycling star, the U.S. Junior National Champion, or the member of the U.S. national team. He was all of those, but to know Magnus, the person, my son, best friend to many in Boulder, throughout the country and world. Magnus was the kid who can put out 6.1 watts per kilogram. I stumble because I don't even know really what that means, but I think it's fast. As his mom, I've seen him race and ride, and I tried to keep up, and he's fast. So his coach would tell teammates to follow Magnus's line, the white line, when they rode and raced. It's one of the reasons we named our foundation the White Line, in memory of him, what he did, and how he got others to follow. But he was much more than his athletic prowess. He was the first to offer a friendly smile to a newcomer on the racing circuit. He was smart. He maintained a really high GPA, one that I did not have in high school. He was a trusted friend. Whether he would go skiing, going to prom. Sorry, that's one of the biggest four-wheeling in his car, building Legos. I know, were people giving a shout out to four-wheeling in his car, because that kind of defined him as well. Building Legos, because he loved Legos even at 17. People just loved hanging out with him. And he was just starting to see his dreams come true, getting that hard-earned spot to ride his mountain bike for Team USA at the World Championships, and the opportunity to join a professional team. Magnus loved every single day of his life with an intensity that was awe-inspiring. and exhausting for me. From solving puzzles as a young child to fiercely competing in racing, he never wasted a second. And yet, off the bike, he was a friend that would hang out and goof around, seamlessly balancing competitiveness with camaraderie. After his death, we learned just how far his impact reached. So many called him their best friend, not just here, but around the world. The fact that we have riders joining us virtually from all over 50 states and 24 countries is a testament to the ripple effect of Magnus. I just want to applaud that right now. 20 countries, 50 states. And here's where it gets hard. Because to be honest, I would trade it all. Because Magnus shouldn't have died. His bright future was cut short by a preventable tragedy. And that's why we're here today, not just to remember, but to act. Some of you here today don't ride bicycles. Some of you might not have given much thought to road safety. You're here because you want your friend back, and I understand the feeling more than you can express. We want Magnus back. Here's the truth we must face, and I hate saying this, but I will. We know what killed Magnus, and we know the solutions. My husband, Magnus's father, who I've seen become torn to pieces over this, and I never in a million years would want to see that, and should anyone else, to see a father on his knees every morning I woke up to Michael crying. He'll speak more about the solutions, but I want to acknowledge why we're here. And I hate this again. It took my son being killed by a reckless driver for me to stand here today. I wish there was something like this that could have been done before he died. So I ask you, what brought you here today? Was it Magnus? Was it someone else you knew, or someone you're afraid to lose? Whatever your reason, I want you to hold on to it. Just hold on to it. Because this type of work, asking for change, isn't easy. So you gotta hold on to it. Let it fuel you, because together we can be a voice for change. We can make our roads safer for everyone. And most importantly, I thank you, every single one of you, for showing up, for caring, for being willing to turn your grief, your own grief, and our grief into action. Magnus lived his life at full throttle. I don't even know if that's a cool word anymore, full throttle. But always pushing to be better, to do more. Let's honor him and all those we've lost by doing the same. Let's ride for Magnus, and let's ride for life. And I have one more thing to say to Magnus. You were always waiting for us to come home, looking out the window, hearing the garage door open, and opening that door for us with your big smile. So I hope you're still waiting for us, that you're proud of us, and that when we see you again, you'll open the door for us, for all of us, and be proud of us and smile. I love you, Magnus.
know if you guys, stop a little bit, sorry, a little taller. I don't know if you guys know how long that group of cyclists was out there today. Yeah. We did the course map, so I can say it was probably somewhere between 5 and 7 miles. That is really just awe-inspiring. So Magnus, honey, look at this, all these people. This is all for you. These are the glasses Magnus was wearing when the day he was killed. I'm wearing them today in the hope that one day I can see the world the way he saw it. My name is Michael White. I've always been better known as Magnus's dad. Thank you all for joining us here today and honoring our Magnus. It's been just over a year since our son has been killed. No one ever thinks this will happen to them. We didn't. And then it did. Those who've had their children die know this. Those that have had their children taken from them know this. The first few months are just pure shock. Time does not exist. You don't really exist. You're just there. Once you survive those first few months, it doesn't get it any easier. Time does not heal. Memories do not bring smiles. Life only gets harder the further away you get from your child. You know you have a lifetime to live, and your beautiful boy is forever 17. Since Magnus was killed, he's been talked about quite a bit. Over 2,000 news articles are written about Magnus in the first weeks after his death. Since then, there have been more than 1,300 news articles written about him. That means just under 12 billion potential eyeballs have seen his story. I think the world would respect us if we simply retreated into our grief, and a lot of times we do. Magnus, he would not. Magnus was a loving and humble human being. He did not seek the spotlight. The spotlight found him. But he was wronged, and his story has touched something deep in all of us. We have to reframe how we talk about the crime committed against our son and every other victim of road violence. This will be hard to hear. It is violent and it is undignified. We did not lose Magnus. His life was stolen. He didn't die in an accident. He did not die in a crash. He was killed when a driver struck him from behind at 60 miles per hour. His body was thrown 60 feet. Magnus died from massive head trauma. I was with him in the ER that day. When I first saw him, there was still dirt on half of his face. And there was a lot of blood. The blood wasn't from the scrapes or road rash on his face, but from the many, many skull fractures he had. My son's, my baby's, my honey's head was so swollen, he was almost unrecognizable. And that's when I knew the ending. Sanitizing what really happens to those in road violence death only contributes it to happening again and again. laws, no new infrastructure, nothing. He is gone. Because the system we have right now failed him. It allowed a driver to get in their car when that driver was in no condition to drive. It allows a road design that encourages bad driving and bad behavior. It allows a person charged with the crime of vehicular homicide to still walk free today while waiting a trial nearly 18 months after the crime. It gives a driver's life more value than that person that driver killed. It allows violent road deaths all over the nation, most never making a headline, to be forgotten. And sadly, all that has become an acceptable part of American life. This, everything we are doing, everything we talk about, this is not for us. We did not ask for this. No one would. This is for you. We formed the White Line in December 2023 in honor of our son. Yes, Magnus's death is a big story, but the problem is so much bigger. The White Line has to be more than a tribute to Magnus. This has to be bigger than him. More than 1,100 cyclists were killed that year, or last year. Over 46,000 were injured. More than 7,500 pedestrians were killed last year. More than 67,000 injured, all by drivers. These numbers are all-time highs for cyclists and the highest level since 1981 for pedestrians. We know any one of these injuries could be death. A split second here, a split second there is a difference between living and dying. If Magnus was just 1/4 of a second faster or slower nearing the end of his 75-mile ride that day, he would be here, and none of this would be happening. Our mission: to preserve and honor the legacy of our son Magnus White, using his memory to inspire cyclists around the world to pay tribute to lives taken too soon. We are dedicated to advocating for the safety of all vulnerable road users and to be a new voice towards creating safer road environments. Our initiatives: immediate and quick improvements to vulnerable road user infrastructure, increasing penalties for careless and reckless driving resulting in death or serious injury, and our Lives Worth Remembering film series. We know Magnus's story is told. The world knows it. Other people's stories deserve to be told too, and we wish we could tell them all. We've already filmed and released 2 episodes. The first is about Christian and Michelle Deaton, husband and wife, who were killed in Napa, California. The second is about Michael Shipp, who was killed cycling in Manning, South Carolina. His children, Ariana and Elijah Shipp, joined us today riding. You can watch these episodes on our website. You all came here today. You flew here, you drove here, you rode your bikes here, you walked here. All of it on our roads. You are here because you demand change. We are the new voice for change. By being here, you are joining us as the new voices for change. We need every single one of your voices. To our leaders and representatives, local, state, and national, we are speaking to you. We are here as one voice. If we change nothing after all of this, then we have all failed. Today, we are introducing 3 legislative asks. One on the local level, one on the state level, and one on the national level. Our local ask. We need to fast track the US 36 protected bike lane from Boulder to Lyons. This is the busiest cycling route in Colorado. 90,000 cyclists a year ride this. We are pushing this to be complete by 2029. 5 years, not 16 years like the road Magnus was killed on. It is outrageous. It is immoral. The time it takes to build traffic safety infrastructure in Colorado. That's why we are calling for our officials to accelerate the installation of traffic safety and active transportation infrastructure. Our state ask. We are asking for new legislation to increase penalties for careless and reckless driving, resulting in death in Colorado. There needs to be accountability. We don't want to put more people in jail. We see it as a deterrent. The threat of severe penalties will force people to drive more responsibly. What's the difference between careless and reckless driving? Careless driving involves negligence and a lack of attention. Reckless driving is more serious and involves a conscious disregard for the risks. In my opinion, a lot of those times, those are one and the same. Careless driving that results in death is a Class 1 misdemeanor traffic offense. I repeat, traffic offense. Penalties can include 10 days to 1 year in county jail, fine up to $1,000. And this is new thanks to Bicycle Colorado, a 12-point offense on your driving record, which may result in a 1-year suspension of your driving privileges. It used to be just a 4-point offense. Look at some recent cases in Colorado. A 13-year-old boy killed riding his bike on the way to school, just a block away. A 13-year-old boy killed on a one-wheel at a crosswalk on his way to school. A 10-year-old boy killed riding his bike in his neighborhood. This morning, I just received an email from his mother. All of these drivers are charged with careless driving. One case has already been resolved, 0 days in jail, a $1,000 fine, and community service. There are 2 families awaiting trial. Sadly, we already know the outcome. Reckless driving resulting in death in Colorado is a Class 4 felony of vehicular homicide. Sentencing guidelines include 2 to 6 years of non-mandatory prison time and a $2,000 to $500,000 fine. If the driver was DUI, it's elevated to a Class 3 felony. 4 to 12 years non-mandatory prison time, plus a fine up to $750,000. Here's some other Class 4 felonies in Colorado. The same sentencing guidelines as vehicular homicide. These might make you angry. Theft of property, second-degree criminal trespass, forgery, fraud by check, indecent exposure, violation of bail bond conditions, and tampering with a utility meter to lower your utility bill. You heard the term non-mandatory jail time in the sentencing guidelines. What does that mean? Simple. It's not mandatory. A judge can sentence a driver to just probation and not spend a single night in jail. That could very well happen in the case against against the driver who killed our Magnus. Misdemeanor DUI, getting pulled over for driving under the influence, carries more mandatory jail time than felony vehicular homicide and felony vehicular homicide with DUI in the state of Colorado. Earmuffs. What the? In Colorado, we are beginning to see this problem. In 2024, Governor Polis signed into law House Bill 1135, which requires the Transportation Legislative Review Committee to study the issue of careless driving resulting in death and whether civil and criminal charges are adequate. This statute requires the Transportation Legislative Review Committee to complete this work during the 2024 interim session. On August 16th, this Friday coming up, the committee has this on their agenda. I will be there presenting to them to take this cause up. We expect them to look at this and take this matter seriously. Our national ask. Current federal policy requires that new vehicles have automatic emergency braking systems, AEB, to stop and avoid contact with a vehicle or person in front of them. Bicycles and motorcycles are excluded. The U.S. Congress must direct the U.S. Department of Transportation to issue a new rule regarding automatic emergency braking systems to protect all people, and that this technology be installed on all new cars and light trucks starting in 2029. Woo! Yeah! AEB for cyclists could prevent an estimated 52% of fatal crashes between cyclists and cars. But we do not have this yet. Why? The National Highway Transit Safety Board under the Department of Transportation said it's because doing testing for the efficacy of such a system is technically more challenging. That is not good enough. Europeans had this technology in their testing, and it hasn't kept many car manufacturers already including bike-sensitive AEB systems in their cars. So we want to have Congress pass a law requiring the Department of Transportation to include a requirement for bicyclists and motorcyclists AEB in new cars. So what can you do about this? By coming here today, you are sending a message to our legislators and to Americans around the country. We are all here as a new voice for change. I ask you to do 3 simple things. Please go to thewhiteline.org or to bicyclecolorado.org. There are signs with QR codes around here. You can scan that QR code right now. There's some people holding some up if you look around. We are set up right now so you can send letters supporting our local, state, and national asks. Do one or do all 3. These letters will go to your local and national officials. It is easy and will only take you a minute. Share it with all you know. Support your favorite organizations supporting this cause. Support the White Line, support organizations that help pull this all together. Bicycle Colorado, it could be me, People for Bikes, and others. All of us need your support. Lastly, continue to ride your bike, walk, use this infrastructure for what we are asking for. There's no other way to advocate for the need of safe biking and walking infrastructure than to be out there showing how important it is. I think today we sent a clear message. I'll leave you with this. Shortly after Magnus was killed, I came across a poem from the late Dylan Thomas. It is written from a son to his dying father. The most important and most poignant lines in the poem are the last two. Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. I'd like to believe that these are Magnus's message to me. I hope they can be my message to you. I'm Magnus's dad. I will always be Magnus's dad. I ask you, please, don't let him die for nothing. Thank you for riding with us today, and thank you for honoring our Magnus.
Thank you, Jill. Thank you, Michael. Take a deep breath and let that message and that emotion sink in for a few seconds. All right, we're in the home stretch. I'm excited for you to hear the next two speakers, our last two speakers. So Congressman Joe Neguse, of the 435 representatives doing our work at the U.S. Capitol, I'm not sure there's anyone that works harder than this guy. Yeah. I think in his second term, you sponsored, I don't know, 100 bills, 103 bills, which is the most, or the second most of all the representatives. 22 of those bills passed. And he cares about this cause. Representative Neguse sponsored the Biking and Long Distance Trails Act, a bipartisan bill to expand outdoor recreation opportunities by identifying potential long-distance bike trails. Just this past December, Representative Neguse announced $23 million bipartisan infrastructure law funding for the city of Boulder to address intersection and corridor safety issues for pedestrians and bicyclists. And similarly, he announced nearly $1 million for the city of Fort Collins. I'm not sure the congressman will introduce himself by saying I'm a bike advocate, a safety advocate, but I've been doing this work for quite a while, and by my standard, he's a bike advocate and a safety advocate. So please join me in welcoming Congressman Joe Neguse.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is a privilege to be able to join you today, to be back on the CU Boulder campus, my alma mater, for the Ride for Magnus, Ride for Your Life Memorial Bike Ride. I want to thank the Chancellor of the University of Colorado Boulder. It's a new Chancellor here on our campus, Dr. Justin Schwartz, and his wife for welcoming us onto the campus for this important occasion. It is impossible to follow Jill and Michael White. One of the hardest things in this life is to convert one's anger and anguish into action. And that is exactly what Jill and Michael have done since Magnus's death, and we owe them a debt of gratitude and a round of applause. They spoke so lovingly of Magnus, and one of my favorite quotes from Dr. Maya Angelou is this, that in this life, people will often forget what you said. They may forget what you did, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And as you hear Jill and Michael talk about Magnus, as you read the many reflections of Magnus's friends and all whom he touched, it is clear that there is no more fitting adage than from Magnus for that quote from Maya Angelou, because he made everyone feel like they mattered. And those of us who were not fortunate enough to have met Magnus in life can attest to that today. How he makes us feel right now. Proud, grateful for all that he accomplished in his short 17 years, and determined to do something positive to honor his memory and to save lives for years to come. So to Jill and Michael, we say to you that you continue to be in our thoughts and our prayers, and that we intend to honor Magnus's memory so that our roads are safer for everyone. It is in his honor and in memory of the 716 Coloradans who lost their lives in traffic crashes, including 133 pedestrians and 20 bicyclists in this last year alone, that we must recommit ourselves to pushing for better laws and improved infrastructure to vulnerable road users. And although, as you'll hear from Shalein, Bhatt, the head of the Federal Highways Administration in our country, we are grateful for the investments that will be made on Highway 119. We know there is still far much more that must be done. So to Michael and to Jill, I will just simply say that we hear you, and that I hear you, and that we look forward to introducing legislation to make automatic braking technology for bicyclists and motorcyclists a reality in the United States Congress. And you have my commitment that we will do that. We're grateful for your partnership in getting it done. We will need your help, all of you who are gathered today and those who are watching remotely. The work continues, the work goes on. Thank you so much for all that you're doing and all that I know you'll continue to do, and please stay safe. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Congressman. To close this out, I'm excited to introduce Shalein Bhatt, the Administrator of the Federal Highway Administration. For those of you who don't know government speak, Administrator is, he's responsible for the Federal Highway Administration. Administrator Bhatt has a distinguished career in the transportation sector that spans over 2 decades, both in the private and public sector, including leading the Delaware and Colorado Departments of Transportation. I've had the privilege of speaking with Administrator Bhatt many times. I could feel his passion for improving safety and protecting all road users on America's roads and highways, including, if not especially, for people biking and walking. Please join me in welcoming Administrator Bhatt.
Good afternoon. It is an honor and a privilege to be here. I have to say it is really heartrending to hear the grief of parents to come forward, and I can't imagine. Actually, Jill did introduce me as a politician. I'm not a politician. No, that's okay. It's not a bad word, but well, maybe it is a little bit for some people. Not for me. But I am a transportation person. I am a proud bike and vulnerable road user advocate. Throughout my career, I have fought hard so that we don't have a system where innocent people die on our roadways. And I usually try not to travel on weekends because I come here today as a parent. I have daughters who are 8 and 10. My youngest daughter was born in Denver when I was the Colorado DOT director. And I know the feeling in my heart when we go out and cycle and the fear that rises up in me. In fact, I was telling Jill about that when we were biking around out there about that fear when we get out of our neighborhood and we're on the road. Does that approaching car, do they see us? Do they know how precious that cargo is on that little tiny bike? And way too often, they don't. And so, you know, I am so grateful to the Whites for their ability to channel the grief and the rage and all of the passion into making change. I am naturally an optimistic person. I think that we can make great change from this. You know, at the federal level, we have a president who cycles. We have a Secretary of Transportation who cycles, and a federal highway administrator who barely was able to complete the ride today. Apparently my lungs did not come with me when I left Colorado. I'll just leave it at that. But we have alignment, and when you have CDOT, and I know the many professionals at CDOT that are here who care passionately about this, we can make change. And I'll close this. Look, there are billions of dollars that are available. There are so many things that we can do differently and will do differently. And looking at the crowd today, looking at the crowd that was riding today, you know, the translation of Magnus means greatest. And I think that the greatest impact of his too short life is going to be in all the lives that we save by working together. So thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for your passion. Thank you to the Whites for all of your work, and let's go out and save some lives. Thank you very much.
One more round of applause, please, for all of our speakers. All right, this is the moment. You all have an opportunity to take action. If you've never written a letter to an elected official, to a government official, it's not hard. We made it really easy for you. So as Michael said, at each of the exits, you're going to see a poster with a QR code. We have a couple people holding posters with QR codes, if you just turn around. And then I believe in every tent, there's a handout on the table with the QR code. Scan that QR code, you'll be brought to a website where very easily, point and click, you can contact the U.S. Department of Transportation, your elected representative in Colorado, and you can sign a petition to show your support for the North Foothills Bikeway. So this is it, it's on you. All right. They got it, yeah, as Jill said, you got this. So to wrap up, on behalf of the White family, thank you for showing up, and thank you for speaking up. We're all grateful. Have a good afternoon.
Start tearing down pressure.
Let's just wait a few minutes here, see how fast everybody clears out.
Don't want to be that guy. So that's something a professional tear down.
Yeah. Hope you had some insights. And yes, unfortunately it got super real, but appreciate all of you watching us and hanging out and understanding the realities of the risk of cycling. And this is a true testament of what you do experience when you do lose somebody in the cycling community. But well, thank you for hanging out with me. I'll let us keep rolling and see if we have anybody come say hi. But then again, thank you for hanging out with me outside of the garage. Again, this is Justin from I Know a Guy Bicycles. And if it's nice in your neck of the woods, please go for a ride, and safely, of course. And until next time, have a wonderful day. I didn't get to show off all my polishing. I'm gonna polish the heck out of that. That was pretty moving. Yeah, I guess we can start cleaning up a little bit. Just get things somewhat stable. A crazy variety of bikes.
All over the section. Skill and quality.
Yeah, you can't solve the mystery issues in the field sometimes. Can't believe it was 4,000. That was pretty impressive. Especially only 4 months or 5 months to organize it. That's insane.
Got a lot of inertia.
Yeah. Plus you get
put together.
Plus getting elected leaders out here and pretty impressive having John Burke out here.
Is he based out of Colorado?
No, he's in Wisconsin. Okay. No, yeah, Waterloo. By Czech corporate. Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, it's fun.
Appreciate it. Got kind of crazy there.
Yeah, it did.
This is better than nothing.
Yeah.
I've had events where you just show up and like, okay, give this a good try, and it was a good nothing. Yeah. So I'm glad this really turned out really big.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Gary put a lot of work into it.
Oh, I can't imagine. Yeah. How many people did you get on the live stream?
Probably not that many. Probably like 10, 15, something like that. I had it set up to go earlier, but I didn't know the time.
Yeah.
So do apologize. Did not know what the hell was going on just at the time. And when I went to go turn it on, I was like, oh, it's deleted, so I have to fill in all the information and thumbnail and everything later after I'm done streaming. Still streaming a little bit. Tail end of the wrap up. See if we get any celebrities to stop by. Besides me. Just kidding. A couple shout outs. I was pretty impressed.
Yeah, no, you were multiple people recognized you.
Like, oh, you're the guy. Yeah, the guy. Social media popularity is still very, very new to me. I warmly, greet it, but it's just different.
Yeah.
I was never that popular kid in high school, so it's definitely a different thing. Well, I was popular for different reasons, not for the good ones. But I'm actually doing a positive turn for sure. Yeah, we had a variety of different bikes. A lot of people on mountain bikes. Wonder how long John Burke and Polis will stick around. I think Polis being the governor and probably just, yep, done, out.
Yeah, they probably keep it pretty busy.
Probably not going to stick around and kick tires. What a beautiful day. I was afraid we'd get wind and see my tent blow across.
Yeah, we were hit with a couple of guys.
Be chasing it. Like that one MS-150, we were like batting down the hatches.
Yeah.
Lost a couple bikes on that one.
I wasn't confined to it. I just happened to be in it.
So I developed a promotional basket.
Can work pretty well.
See how many people are like, why are you handing me matches?
There were a lot of people that didn't look inside. And
It's
were,
like, they're patch kits. It's the patch book, not matchbook. It's great. That's why I kept on saying, it's patches. And they're like, had like this bewildered look in their eyes. It's kind of fun. Kind of fun. It's always about fun. Spoke too soon about the wind, didn't I? The trick is how to get us all back into the car.
I know.
It's like all day treacherous yesterday putting it in there. See how crazy it gets putting it back. Definitely falls into the podcast category. I don't know why I think traction in front, then we'll talk afterwards. I will, but they wanted us to wait. They told us to wait to break down. Simply that reason not to run over anybody. Okay. Yeah. Trying to leave. So I never did like, they consider this an expo. An expo, I have know how to do an expo as a bike mechanic. So laying in bed the other night, I'm like, okay, I mean, what do I feature that's different than other bike shops, right? That one thing would be detailing frames. To that in course, I did a frame and split it in half. Hopefully I can get this in the sunlight correctly. So on this side was the dirty, dingy frame that was stuck outside for a year and a half because it has a cracked head tube, so it was toast, right? So I cleaned it up. You can see the dirty and scarring on this side, but the other side is where I did the polishing and detailing. And if I get enough sunlight, you'll actually be able to see the shininess of the ceramic coating, all that good stuff. So at least I got the show and tell, at least at the end of this anyway. But yeah, well, thanks for hanging out with me again outside the garage. And this concludes another day of As the Wheel Turns, so the days of our rides. And until next time, please go for a ride. And if it's nice in your neck of the woods, and be safe out there. Have a wonderful day.